I never thought I'd be the guy standing here, feeling like I got punched in the gut over something so damn obvious now that I look back. Sarah and I had been married for 10 years, and yeah, we had our rough patches like everyone else. But overall, I thought we were solid, or at least I did. She could be a bitch sometimes, always quick to lie, throw a tantrum, act like she's entitled to the world. But I loved her, or at least I thought I did. That was until I started noticing little things that didn't add up. It all started about 2 months ago, right after her birthday. She was acting weird, distant, distracted, suddenly obsessed with her phone and always hiding it from me. I'd catch her slipping it into her purse when I wasn't looking, but she'd brush it off with some snarky comment like, "Oh, it's just my work stuff, relax." Yeah, right. She's a graphic designer, so her work often involves late nights on the laptop, but this was different. There was a certain nervousness to her, like she was hiding something. I tried to ignore it, convinced myself I was overthinking, but deep down I felt something was off. Then I started noticing her missing weekends more often. She'd say she was going out with her friends or attending some local art event, but I'd find out later she'd been lying. Small lies at first, canceled plans, vague excuses. But I could sense she was hiding something bigger. That's when I started paying more attention, especially to her purse. I mean, what could possibly be hidden there? I'd see her stash receipts, lipstick, a pack of gum, but one day I found something that made my stomach drop. It was a hotel key card. Just one, tucked inside her wallet like she didn't think I'd notice. I remember holding it in my hand, feeling this strange mixture of curiosity and unease. It was from some hotel downtown, not far from where she claimed she was at her friend's house. I didn't say anything at first, just kept quiet. But then I saw her slip that same hotel key card into her purse again, during one of her art meetings. That's when I realized I had to dig deeper. I started snooping through her stuff when she was out, and sure enough, I found more keys, hotel room receipts, and even some hotel room cards that I definitely hadn't booked. What really got me was the realization that she was clearly going somewhere alone, probably not just for some stupid art event or whatever she told me. And the thing is, I had a gut feeling it wasn't just some innocent affair or a random fling. I knew she was cheating. I mean, the hotel room cards. That's not something you get for a weekend workshop or a dinner with friends. That's for sex, for sneaking around, for doing things she'd be ashamed to admit. The worst part, I saw her on the latest Saturday rushing out of the house with her purse, her face flushed, practically trying to hide her nervousness. I was just home, bored, flipping through the mail when she stormed past me without even saying a word. I should have stopped her right then, but I was too stunned. My mind was racing. What was she hiding? Who was she with? How long had this been going on? It was like my entire world flipped upside down in that moment. I was angry, confused, and honestly devastated. I never thought she'd do this to me, to us. And as I sat there staring after her retreating figure, I knew this was just the beginning. I had to confront her, had to get answers. But I also knew that whatever she was going to say, it wouldn't be enough to undo what I now saw clearly. Sarah had been lying, cheating, and playing a game all along. I just didn't see it until now. And that realization hit me harder than anything else. When she finally came back that evening, I was already sitting on the couch, trying to keep my composure. My hands were clenched into fists and my mind was racing. I didn't want to jump to conclusions, but I knew I couldn't ignore what I'd found. When she stepped into the living room, she looked like she was trying to act normal, smirking, acting like she hadn't just been caught with hotel keys in her purse. She flopped onto the sofa with that bitchy attitude of hers, crossing her arms. "What are you staring at? You've got that creepy look again," she snapped. I couldn't hold back anymore. I asked her flat out about the hotel keys, the receipts, the things I'd discovered. I told her I knew she was lying, that I'd been snooping through her stuff. Her face twisted into one of her classic dismissive smirks, like I was some paranoid fool, and she started spinning her usual bullshit. "Oh, so now you think I'm cheating? Seriously. You're overreacting as usual. You always jump to conclusions. Maybe I just forgot to throw some stuff away, or maybe I needed some time for myself, okay? You've been so controlling lately, it's like you're accusing me of murder every time I leave the house. I don't owe you an explanation for every little thing I do. She was good at throwing words around, making me feel like I was the crazy one. But I could see the flicker of guilt behind her eyes, the way she hesitated, the way her voice cracked just a little. I pressed her further. Who were you with in those hotels, Sarah? Don't sit there and lie to me. I know you're sleeping with someone. I found the damn room keys and receipts. Tell me the truth or I swear I'll lose it. Her eyes narrowed and she scoffed, rolling her eyes like, I was an annoying kid. You're such a control freak. Maybe I was just, I don't know, having some fun. I'm not hurting anyone, Mike. You think I'm just gonna sit around waiting for you to figure out I've got needs too? Grow up. That's when I snapped. I told her I'd had enough of her bullshit, that her needs didn't involve sneaking off to hotels for sex with some instructor from her stupid chess club. I told her I saw the hotel cards, the receipts, and how she was lying through her teeth. That's when she started crying, fake tears streaming down her face, acting all innocent like I was just some jealous husband overreacting. But I wasn't buying it. I knew better. I saw her for what she was, a liar, a cheat, a manipulator. The thing is, her lies only made me angrier. I felt betrayed, humiliated, like I'd been played for a fool for years. Honestly, I was close to losing control. Every nerve in my body was screaming for her to admit the truth. But she kept spinning her web of bullshit, insisting she was innocent, that I was crazy, that I was just jealous. Because she was more successful and I was paranoid. Her words stung because I knew she was just covering her ass, trying to save herself from getting caught. That's when I realized this wasn't just a fling or a moment of weakness. This was something bigger, something calculated and cold. I stayed quiet after that, just staring at her while she blubbered and lied. My mind was racing again, trying to figure out what to do next. Honestly, I felt so many things all at once: anger, sadness, betrayal, and a deep, aching disappointment that I had let her get away with so much for so long. I used to think we were unbreakable, that we'd fought through everything. But now I saw I was just fooling myself. I started thinking about all the times she had lied, the weekends I never knew about, the sex she was having with some chess instructor she met during weekend competitions. I felt like I'd been living in some kind of nightmare. That night I couldn't sleep. My brain kept spinning, replaying everything I'd found, every little detail that pointed to her cheating. I kept asking myself, how did I miss all the signs? How could she lie so easily? How long has this been going on? The more I thought about it, the more I hated her for betraying our marriage, for undermining everything we built. And yet, part of me still couldn't believe she'd go this far, lie this blatantly. It was like I was living in some twisted soap opera, and I was the one who'd been played. The next morning, I knew I couldn't keep pretending everything was fine. I had to decide what to do. Part of me wanted to confront her again, demand answers, maybe even throw her out right then and there. But another part, the calmer, more cautious side, told me to think. Think about what I wanted, what was best for me. And honestly, right now, I just felt numb, like I'd lost all trust and respect for her. I didn't know if I could ever forgive her. All I knew was I was hurt and furious and that I had to make a choice. After that night, I couldn't sleep. My head kept spinning with thoughts about what she had done, what she was still doing, and what I was going to do next. I kept asking myself, do I stay and try to fix this? Do I confront her again and give her a chance to explain? Or do I just pack my bags and get out before I lose my mind? Honestly, the thought of leaving her and everything we built seemed almost impossible to face, but staying meant I was just accepting her lies and betrayal. That was a hard pill to swallow. In the days that followed, I noticed more signs. She was acting even more bitchy, snapping at me over little things, trying to gaslight me into thinking I was crazy. Like she'd say, "You're imagining things, Mike. Why are you so paranoid?" Or, "You're just jealous because I'm better at chess and you're insecure." I wasn't buying her bullshit anymore. Every word she uttered felt like a knife in my gut. I could see through her act now, see her cold manipulation. It was like I was finally waking up from a nightmare I didn't even realize I was in. I didn't want to blow everything up without a plan, so I decided I needed to be smart about this. I started gathering evidence, screenshots of hotel receipts, copies of hotel room keys I found in her purse, and even messages I intercepted on her phone when she was distracted. I didn't want to be just an emotional wreck. I wanted facts. I wanted to be able to confront her with undeniable proof. That's when I realized I needed to get to the bottom of how deep this was. Was she cheating with just the instructor? Or was it more? I started digging through her social media, her messages, and even checked her call logs. The more I looked, the more I found confirmation that she was lying about everything. One day, I caught her in a blatant lie about where she had been, claiming she stayed home to work on some projects. But I had seen her leaving that hotel after she claimed to be working late. That's when I finally snapped. I decided I'd had enough of her manipulations. I called her out in front of her friends, told her I knew the truth. Her face turned ghostly pale and she started throwing tantrums, denying everything, trying to weasel her way out of it. But I didn't care anymore. I was done playing her game. I told her she needed to pack her shit and leave, that I wasn't going to be with someone who lied, cheated, and treated me like I was nothing. Her reaction was classic. She started screaming, calling me a jealous fool, saying I was crazy, accusing me of trying to control her. And honestly, part of me felt guilty for even caring how she felt. But I was also furious. How could she do this? How could she betray everything we'd built? I felt like I was losing my mind, like I was living in a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. I wanted revenge, maybe just to see her suffer like she made me suffer. That day, I packed her bags myself, threw her out of the house, told her I never wanted to see her again if she couldn't be honest. She yelled, called me all kinds of names, and told me I was crazy for believing she'd cheat. But I knew the truth. I had it all laid out in front of me. The hotel keys, the receipts, the intercepted messages. They were all proof she'd been hiding something for months. It felt like a punch to the face. Realizing that the woman I loved, the woman I trusted, had been lying and screwing around behind my back. I never thought I'd be here, but I was done. Done with her lies, her manipulations, her bullshit. Honestly, the aftermath was just as brutal. The house felt empty and cold without her. Every corner, every room reminded me of the life I thought we had. The betrayal cut so deep it was hard to breathe sometimes. I kept asking myself, how did I miss all the signs? Why did I trust her? But I also knew I couldn't stay stuck in that pain forever. I had made my decision, I was done. I couldn't keep living with the constant suspicion, the lies, her bitchy attitude, and her cheating. It was over. And the worst part, I still loved her, but I knew I had to let go. Looking back, I realize now how naive I was to think marriage was supposed to be perfect. No one's perfect, sure, but honesty, that's what it's all about. And she, Sarah, she proved she wasn't the person I thought she was. The thing I've learned from all this is that trust is delicate, and once it's broken, it's damn near impossible to repair. I wish I'd seen the signs earlier, but I guess everyone's blind until they're not. If there's one thing I'd tell anyone going through this, it hurts like hell, but you have to face the truth, no matter how ugly. Because no matter how much you want to believe in fairy tales, sometimes reality is far darker than you think. After I kicked her out, I thought I'd feel better. That maybe the pain would ease, that I'd finally get some peace. But honestly, it only made everything worse. The house was dead silent without her bitchy comments, her manipulative smirks, and that constant cloud of lies she carried around. I found myself wandering around, staring at the empty spaces where she used to be, feeling like I lost a part of myself. That betrayal cut so deep I couldn't even recognize myself anymore. For the first few days, I was a mess. I'd wake up in the middle of the night with a racing heart, remembering the times she lied so effortlessly, her sneaky sneers, her excuses about how she needed a break, or was just being selfish for a little while. I kept replaying the moment I found the hotel key card in her purse over and over, wishing I could erase it from my mind. I'd sit on the edge of the bed, staring at her side, feeling this strange mix of rage and sadness. I hated her, but part of me still loved her, the part that believed in us and the vows we took. But love doesn't come with a guarantee, and betrayal doesn't just disappear overnight. I started questioning everything. Was she always cheating? How many times had she been with that instructor? Did she love him, or was it just sex? The worst part was that I didn't even know if I should be angry at her or myself. Maybe I should have seen the signs earlier. Maybe I was too blind or too in love to notice. I felt like a fool for trusting her, a fool for thinking she was different from all the others. I tried to keep busy, work more hours, hang out with friends, even started hitting the gym again. But no matter what I did, the pain lingered. Every time I saw her face in my mind, I felt like I was suffocating. And the worst part, it wasn't just about the sex or the cheating. It was about the trust completely shattered. I feel like I've been betrayed on every level. The woman I married, the woman I thought I knew, was nothing but a liar. She used me, lied to me, and probably laughed behind my back. That realization made me more furious than anything. I remember one night, sitting alone in the dark, scrolling through her phone when I came across some messages from the instructor. They weren't just innocent good luck on your game kind of texts. They were flirty, suggestive, explicitly talking about meeting up, about sex, about hiding everything from me. I read them over and over, feeling like my stomach was turning inside out. How could she do this? How could she hide it so well for so long? I felt like I had been living in a lie and now I was drowning in it. I have to admit I cried. Yeah, I cried like a damn baby. It hit me that I'd been played for a fool, had given her everything, trusted her completely, and she had been screwing around behind my back. It made me question everything I'd ever believed about love and loyalty. I used to think marriage was about honesty and partnership, but now I realize it's fragile, something that can easily be broken with lies and secret meetings in hotel rooms. I kept thinking about all the moments I missed, her sneaking out, her excuses, her fake smiles, and I hated her for it. But I also hated myself for not noticing sooner. I should have been more suspicious, more cautious. Instead, I was blind, living in some dream world where I believed she was faithful because she said she was. It's a bitter pill to swallow, realizing that the woman you loved was just pretending to be someone she was. And I'll tell you, that kind of betrayal leaves scars that don't go away easily. Every day felt like a new reminder that I'd been played, that I'd trusted someone who didn't deserve it, and that I had to pick up the pieces of my shattered life. I kept asking myself what I did wrong, if maybe I wasn't enough, if I pushed her away somehow. But deep down, I knew that wasn't true. The problem wasn't me. It was her, that bitchy, lying, manipulative side she always kept hidden until she thought she could get away with it. And now, I was left dealing with the aftermath, trying to figure out how to rebuild what was broken. The pain was relentless, but part of me knew I had to keep moving forward, even if it meant starting all over again. As the days went by, I found myself stuck in a kind of limbo. Part of me wanted to reach out to try to salvage something, maybe get her to admit everything and then decide what to do. But another part, more rational, knew that was pointless. She'd lied so much that I didn't trust anything she said anymore. Every word, every excuse just felt like another lie in the long chain of betrayal. I realized pretty quickly that if I was going to move forward, I'd need to cut all ties and start fresh, even if it hurt like hell. One morning, I finally sat down and thought seriously about what I wanted. Did I want to forgive her? Could I see myself trying again after everything? Honestly, I was so angry and hurt that forgiveness seemed impossible. I could even remember the last time I truly felt safe with her. That's when I made my decision. I was done. Not just done with her cheating, but done with the relationship as I knew it. I couldn't keep pretending everything was okay when I knew she'd been lying for months. I contacted a lawyer, started looking into divorce options, and began planning my next steps. It wasn't about revenge per se. It was about protecting myself, making sure I wasn't left completely broken by this. I realized that I needed to put some distance between us, physically and emotionally. So I told her she needed to leave for good, that I didn't want to see her again unless she was honest with herself and with me about everything. Her reaction was predictable. She threw a fit, called me every name in the book, told me I was overreacting, and that I was the real problem. But I knew better. I knew she was just trying to manipulate her way out of it. When she finally packed her things, she looked at me like I was some kind of monster. That bitchy smirk she always wore was gone, replaced with a look of pure contempt. She kept insisting she was innocent, that I was paranoid and crazy, but I just stared back, emotionless. I was done listening to her lies. I was done being her backup plan. The truth was, I didn't even want her to explain anymore. I just wanted her gone so I could start healing. The worst part wasn't even her leaving, it was realizing how much I'd let her control my life for so long. Her lies, her manipulations, they'd eaten away at my confidence, my trust, my self-esteem. And now I was left with the mess she'd made. But I also knew this was a turning point. I had to pick myself up and learn from this. I had to rebuild my life, without her, without the constant feeling of betrayal hanging over me. It was a brutal lesson, but a necessary one. In the weeks that followed, I started to reclaim my life. I stopped checking her social media, blocked her from my phone, and told myself I'd work on healing. I didn't want to be the guy who got played and stayed broken forever. I knew I'd need time, maybe years, to fully trust again, if I ever did. But I also knew I had to forgive myself for trusting her so blindly. That was the hardest part, accepting that I couldn't control her actions, only how I responded to them. If there's one thing I learned from all this, it's that betrayal doesn't only hurt the person betrayed, it changes them. You either let it destroy you or use it as a lesson to become stronger. Looking back now, I see how much I've grown, how much I've learned about boundaries, about not ignoring the red flags, about valuing myself enough to walk away when someone crosses the line. I realize that sometimes the biggest act of strength is walking away from someone who lied and cheated, even if it hurts like hell in the moment. That's what I want anyone reading this to understand. You're stronger than the pain, and you deserve honesty and respect. Never settle for less. Because once trust is broken, the only way to heal is to rebuild, better and wiser. Now, sitting here a few months after she left, I find myself in a strange place. The house is quiet, too quiet sometimes, but I've started to find little pieces of myself again. It's not easy, every day is a challenge, a reminder of what I lost, what I thought I had. Trust is shattered and maybe it's never coming back. But I've learned something valuable in all this chaos. I'm stronger than I thought. I survived betrayal that cut deeper than any physical wound and came out the other side still standing. One thing I'll never forget is how this whole mess taught me to pay attention to the little signs, to my instincts, to the things I ignored or brushed aside because I didn't want to face the truth. I used to be naive, believing that love could fix everything, that vows meant forever. But now I understand that honesty is the foundation of any real relationship. Without it, you're just building on sand. And I refuse to rebuild what was broken with lies and deception. I also learned that revenge, if you want to call it that, is not about hurting her, not about punishing her for what she did. It's about reclaiming yourself, taking back your power, and proving that you won't be beaten down by betrayal. For me, that meant cutting her out of my life entirely, blocking out the whispers of what could have been and focusing on healing. I started therapy, talked to friends who listened without judgment, and even began to rediscover hobbies I'd set aside for too long. Slowly, I'm rebuilding my confidence piece by piece. Most importantly, I've come to realize that I deserve better. I deserve honesty, loyalty, respect. Things I thought I had with her but turned out to be illusions. I won't settle for someone who manipulates, lies, or cheats. I want real, genuine love, something that's built on trust and mutual respect. And I hope someday I'll find that again with someone who values me for who I am, not who they want me to be. Looking back, I'm grateful I found out the truth when I did. It hurt like hell, no doubt about it, but it also set me free. I won't live in fear of betrayal anymore. I won't be blinded by love or hope that someone will change. I'll trust but verify. I'll listen to my instincts and never ignore my gut again. Because if there's one thing I want others to take from this, it's that your happiness and dignity come first. No matter how much you love someone, if they betray you, they don't deserve a second chance unless they earn it honestly. And even then, be cautious. So yeah, I went through hell, but I came out stronger. I learned how to stand on my own 2 feet again, how to forgive but not forget, and how to value myself enough to walk away from someone who doesn't respect me. That's the real victory. Because in the end, the only person you truly need is yourself and your own integrity. And I refuse to let someone else's lies define me. I'll build a new life, one where trust is earned and love is real. That's what I'm focusing on now. And honestly, that's enough.